Good morning. It's a pleasure to join you. My name is Tim Huelskamp, and if you can pronounce that, you're probably ahead of my mother after 50 years. She still has a problem with the last name. I come from Kansas, and as many of you know, Kansas is home to many pioneers and visionaries. And it was pioneers and visionaries who refused to accept the demands of political elites in some far-off capital. Through the 150-plus year history of Kansas, we have served as the staging ground for many of our nation's biggest political and social battles. In the 19th century, the nation's Civil War erupted in part because Kansans refused to sanction slavery. They refused to allow the God-given liberties and freedom of the fellow man to be trampled on just because of the color of their skin. While no other nation has done more, I believe, than America to ensure the God-given abilities of individuals to exercise their liberties, slavery still is a stain on the history of our nation. It contradicted the belief that man has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the activists who came to my state seeking to end this scourge, they recognized the contradiction. They refused to allow immoral laws and bad culture to stand in the way of pursuing what they knew to be right. And they put word into action. And you know what drove them? What drove entire families to get in the back of a wagon and ride from Massachusetts, say, 1,500 miles to a land they didn't know? A religious belief that slavery was wrong. And when they arrived, they risked their lives as pro-slavery forces, mercilessly, relentlessly attacked, pillaged, and destroyed their villages and their homes because of what they believed. But as we know, by the hand of God, Kansas survived, our nation survived, slaves were freed, and America rose again from the ashes of the Civil War. Just as our predecessors, we cannot stand idly by while justice prevails and our God-given liberties are under siege. You know, for all the talk of the war on women, the biggest war being waged right now in America is that against our liberties and our traditional values. For most among them, that most cherished of American freedoms, the freedom of religion. Freedom of religion is the first part of the First Amendment. The first part, because our founders recognized that the freedom to exercise religion and faith is the most fundamental liberty. You've already heard a little bit about the dangers posed by the HHS mandate under Obamacare, but let me comment further. The former governor of my state is the one that's mandating that. I do apologize. But let me unwrap that a little bit. What this mandate actually does, it commands what many immigrants to America sought to escape, a tax on religion. That's right, a religion tax. If you happen to believe that abortion is wrong, contraception is wrong, sterilization wrong, abortion drugs are wrong, as many people of faith do, and you actually want to live out your faith, not just on Sunday, but through the entire week, by refusing to buy these items for yourself, for your family, for your employees, or for your church, that's just too bad. You will be searched out and fined by 10,000 new IRS agents because of what you believe. Attacked for your conscience, just like those Kansas abolitionists. But it doesn't stop there. Our servicemen and women who bravely defend our nation do so first and foremost to protect the rights we hold dear. Throughout generations, men and women have given their lives defending those rights. Now they find those rights under siege not on a foreign land, but right here at home. Under the current administration, if you're a chaplain in the military, you are not free to preach the teachings of your faith. You can be punished, discriminated against for preaching the biblical values of marriage and any other traditional Judeo-Christian values. I've been proud to lead the fight on Capitol Hill against such religious discrimination and authored the Military Religious Freedom Protection Act to protect our chaplains and all our service members from being discriminated against. My uncle, Father Leonard Stegman, a chaplain who earned a Purple Heart for risking his lives to save that of others, he deserves no less, and so does every member of the military. And as Congressman Langford mentioned, we do understand that this administration is undermining marriage. They're doing that through the courts. They're using your taxpayer money to undermine marriage in court after court after court. Now, last time I checked, the Constitution doesn't allow a president to pick and choose based on ideology of what law to enforce. And they're using those dollars, your taxpayer money, to undo your very values. That should stop, that must stop, that can stop in November. But perhaps the biggest war against our liberties is the war being waged against those that are not here today, the unborn. Besides slavery, abortion is the other darkest stain on our nation's character. And this president is looking for every way possible to make abortion more available and more frequent. And he wants you to pay for it, even if you disagree with it. Welcome to another provision of Obamacare. Like the pro-slavery forces who invaded Kansas, the pro-abortion forces in Washington and elsewhere want us to believe that abortion is not murder, that being born is worse than death, that the unborn baby is property, not a person. We've heard that before, 150 years ago. And not shockingly, we see this administration opposing any reductions in taxpayer funding to the one private corporation, the largest abortion business in the entire country, Planned Parenthood. It would not allow any single reductions, more than $300 million tax dollars to this entity. And ladies and gentlemen, I am the adopted father of 4 children. Each of them either black, Hispanic, Native American, and I am incensed that this president pays money to an entity that was created for the sole purpose of killing children that look like mine. A racist organization, and it continues specifically to target minorities for abortion destruction. Shame on this president, and shame on that party. When under siege, if we do not stand for our liberties and for the liberties of those who are unable to stand for themselves, then the great American experiment will come to an end. But I am hopeful and optimistic that America will not meet that end. But the next 7.5 weeks will be one of the most critical times in American history if we want to control that destiny. Now more than ever, America needs people like you to talk to your neighbors, your friends, your fellow churchgoers against the threats to rights we have to exercise our God-given liberties. Polite society says, don't talk about politics, about moral values, but friends, the time for polite society is over. The men and women who settled Kansas in 1854 decided manners mattered less than defending the voiceless, and we should too. They put word into action. And we should too. May God bless you and protect our blessed country. Thank you.